Hello. I am known as the narrator. Thank you for being here. In Infinite Jest, David Foster Wallace explores a world overwhelmed by entertainment, addiction, and loneliness. The novel is strange, funny, difficult, and deeply human. But at its center is a question that feels more relevant than ever. What happens when pleasure becomes something we cannot stop chasing? In this video, we explore 5 lessons from Infinite Jest. From the emptiness of entertainment without meaning, to the difficult work of learning how to pay attention to real life again. Please enjoy.
David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest is one of the most ambitious, difficult, and unsettling novels of the late 20th century. On the surface, it is about a tennis academy, a halfway house, addiction, and a mysterious film so pleasurable that anyone who watches it loses the will to do anything else. But beneath the complicated surface, the novel asks a deeply human question. What happens when a culture becomes so good at distraction that people no longer know how to sit with pain, boredom, or desire? Here are 5 lessons from Infinite Jest. Lesson 1. Entertainment can become a form of captivity. One of the central ideas in Infinite Jest is that pleasure is not always freedom. The mysterious film at the center of the novel is so entertaining that it destroys the viewer's ability to choose anything else. That may sound exaggerated, but the metaphor is not hard to understand. Wallace is showing us a world where entertainment becomes so available, personalized, and absorbing that people willingly give themselves over to it. The danger is not that pleasure is bad. The danger is that pleasure can become a cage when it removes our capacity to want deeper things. In this sense, endless entertainment does not simply distract us from life, it can slowly replace our ability to participate in life. Ask yourself, is this entertainment restoring me, or is it helping me disappear? The same activity can be healthy in one context and avoidant in another. Lesson 2. Addiction is not only about substances, it is also about escape. Infinite Jest spends a great deal of time inside the lives of people struggling with addiction, especially through the residents of Infinite House. But Wallace's treatment of addiction goes beyond drugs and alcohol. The novel suggests that addiction is rooted in the desperate need to escape unbearable inner states: shame, fear, grief, loneliness, self-hatred, or the feeling of being trapped inside one's own mind. The addict is not simply someone who wants pleasure. The addict is often someone who cannot tolerate pain without help. This broader view makes the novel uncomfortable because it blurs the line between addicts and everyone else. We may not all use the same substances, but most of us have patterns we use to avoid ourselves. Lesson 3. Intelligence does not protect you from suffering. Many of the characters in Infinite Jest are highly intelligent, talented, or disciplined. The students at the tennis academy are intensely trained. Many characters can analyze themselves and the world with extraordinary precision. But Wallace repeatedly shows that intelligence alone does not make a person whole. In fact, intelligence can sometimes become another trap when it turns into overthinking, irony, self-consciousness, or emotional distance. Knowing why you suffer is not the same as being free from suffering. Explaining your pain brilliantly is not the same as healing it. The novel suggests that real growth often requires something less glamorous than genius: humility, honesty, routine, community, and the willingness to ask for help. Sometimes the question is not, can I understand my problem more deeply? Sometimes the better question is, what simple practice would help me live differently today? Lesson 4. Recovery begins when self-centeredness starts to break open. One of the most moving parts of Infinite Jest is its attention to recovery communities. These spaces can seem repetitive, strange, or even cliché from the outside, but Wallace treats them with surprising seriousness. The slogans, meetings, routines, and acts of service are not presented as intellectually impressive. They are presented as necessary because addiction traps people inside the self: my craving, my pain, my shame, my story, my need to escape. Recovery begins when that closed loop starts to open. Listening to others, telling the truth, showing up, making coffee, admitting powerlessness, and helping someone else survive one more day all become ways of rejoining the human world. The lesson is that healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is ordinary, repetitive, and communal. When you feel trapped in your own head, do one small outward-facing act. Connection often begins before you feel ready for it. Lesson 5. Freedom requires learning how to live with discomfort. The deeper warning of Infinite Jest is that a life organized around avoiding discomfort becomes smaller and smaller. If every difficult feeling must be numbed, every silence filled, every boredom interrupted, and every loneliness escaped, then we lose the ability to choose anything demanding. Love is demanding. Art is demanding. Recovery is demanding. Friendship, discipline, grief, responsibility, and meaning all require some willingness to stay present when things are not immediately pleasant. Wallace's novel suggests that freedom is not the absence of discomfort. Freedom is the ability to endure discomfort without surrendering your agency. The person who can sit through pain, boredom, craving, awkwardness, or uncertainty has more choices than the person who must escape immediately. Infinite Jest is a massive, difficult, and often overwhelming novel, but its central insight is painfully clear. A culture built around endless entertainment may not make us happy. It may make us less able to face ourselves. David Foster Wallace shows us people chasing pleasure, escape, performance, achievement, substances, and distraction, only to discover that none of these can substitute for meaning, connection, and the ability to live honestly. The trap of endless entertainment is that it promises freedom while quietly weakening the parts of us that make freedom possible. The novel does not offer an easy solution, but it points toward a harder and more human one. Pay attention, tell the truth, accept help, and choose the real world even when escape is available.
I hope you take these lessons to heart and that you find them useful. Please join us for more wisdom from classic books and other interesting lessons.